Let's make a dress perfect for Lizzo's music video. To make my Lizzo-inspired dress, I went to the clearance section at my local fabric store and found these two materials. Obviously they're not the same color she uses, but I think it has enough sparkle and fun that it could work. I started off draping the material, so I took that light blue cotton and added it to my dress form and just started draping and playing around with the fabric. I wanted to make sure it had the same shape as her jumpsuit does that she wears in the music video, and then I knew that I wanted this to be like a dress and have kind of like a skirt and a bottom, so I did two separate kind of instances so that you can see the skirt. I have those pattern pieces, and then I have the top, which will have the same shape as her jumpsuit, and then that little cutout portion, and I can start working on that. So I first started to sew the yoke together, which was that top part, so that I would have one completed piece. Then I pressed it out so that there were no raw edges and it laid nice and flat. Next, I started working on the skirt portion of the dress, so I added darts in both the front and the back so that it would have more of a fitted shape and be close to the body. Once I had the darts all nice and sewn, I did go ahead and press those open so that they would lay nice and flat for the dress. So after I had that yoke part done, I was really looking at it and I realized that since I want that mirror-like material to go over top of it, I should have actually sewn the mirror material onto the blue yoke first. So what I'm going to do is actually cut out that piece of the yoke material, sew it on to the blue cotton part of the yoke, and then repeat this for the bottom section of my top so that I can remove the raw edges that way. So this is what I was referring to, so you can see that mirror-like material is now over the light blue cotton. I'm going to trim that up, and then in addition, for the bottom portion of the top, I added a couple darts so that it would fit closer to the body. So I'm going to sew those, and then I will sew the blue material onto the cotton. So here's the completed pieces sewn up, so you can see that the blue mirror material is now on the cotton. I've taken that seam, so I'm going to trim that up, and then what I'm going to actually do is then press out where I had the darts so that this will be complete and I can attach it to the yoke up top. I'm then going to repeat the same process for the back, cutting out a piece of that blue mirror material and adding it to the cotton. But first, it's time to press out the darts. So now that I have the yoke and the top portion completed, what it's time to do is sew these together. So I'm going to fold that edge of the yoke under so that there can be no raw edges. I'm going to take a seam across. Once I do that, I will then sew the bottom portion of the top onto the yoke in the same place I took the seam. With that done, it's now time to start working on the back. So I need to cut out a piece of that blue mirror fabric for the back, as well as cut out a piece of the blue mirror material for the skirt portion of the dress, and then we'll tie it all together. So to cut out the bottom portion of the blue mirror material, I just did a circle skirt pattern so that it would be nice and full, and this is what it ended up looking like, so it will work really well onto the bottom portion of the dress. And then for the top, I just cut it out the exact same shape of that blue cotton material. Now for the back of the top, what I'm going to do is sew around all three sides so that I can attach the blue cotton to that blue mirror material, and then we will attach it to the front portion of the dress. For this, I'm going to sew one shoulder at the top as well as one side seam, and then the other side I'm going to be adding snaps. That's how you're going to take this dress on and off, but one whole side will be completely sewn and then the other side will be closed using snaps. So now the entire top portion of the dress was complete, so it was time to really start focusing on the bottom. So the first thing I did was I took a hem around the skirt so that I wouldn't have to worry about this later. I ended up doing kind of a rolled hem so that you wouldn't be able to see any of the raw edges, and then I just took a straight seam across. Next, I shifted gears and headed to the blue mirror material for the bottom. So I took a gathering stitch at the top so it would be the same measurement as the light blue bottom portion waist. And now what I'm going to do is pin this all to the light blue portion so that they match and that they are together. Now with right sides together, I started to pin the top portion of my dress to the bottom skirt portion so that I'd be able to take a straight seam all the way across and make this one complete dress. So here's what my dress looks like so far. It is basically complete. I'm just going to go around the bottom and make it a high-low hem so that that blue fabric has a little bit more fun and movement to it. And here is what the final look is. I think it's so fun. I love how shiny it is now, sparkly. It really gives off the same vibes as Lizzo does in her music video. If you like this dress and you want to see me make more, be sure to like and subscribe.